All right, so Acts chapter 7, verse 7. Stephen is continuing. "And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said God, and after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place." Okay. So God's, he's speaking, Jesus speaking to Abraham, and he's explaining to Abraham what's going to happen to his seed, right? They're going to end up in Egypt, and they're going to the people of Egypt, the pharaohs, and all, they're going to treat them evil, treat them bad for 400 years, right? And then he's saying, then after that they shall come forth. That means they're going to come out of Egypt and serve me in this place. Okay. So he's given Abraham the prophecy of the future of his seed, how it's going to go. All right, so they'll be in Egypt for 1 year, then they're going to come out and they're going to serve God in this place, he's telling them. And then verse 8, "And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begot Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs." Right? So he's continuing with the history lesson, right? Right? Because Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob had the 12 sons, right? And God changed Jacob's name to Israel. That's why it's the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay. And then verse 9. "And the patriarchs, moved with envy, sold Joseph into Egypt, but God was with him." Right. So it's explaining how the tribes of Israel got to Egypt in the first place, right? Because one of the sons was Joseph, right? And he's saying that his brothers basically sold Joseph into Egypt, right? In verse 9, the patriarchs, the 12 tribes, because Benjamin was the youngest, so he wasn't moved with envy against Joseph, but the 10 were. And so that's what he's talking about. The patriarchs there sold Joseph into Egypt, but God was with Joseph as he went to Egypt. This is an amazing chapter. Okay, and then in verse 10, "And delivered him out of all his afflictions, and gave him favor and wisdom in the sight of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he made him governor over Egypt and all his house." All right, so if you remember the story with the pharaohs in Egypt and Joseph, right? He raised up to the top of the ladder in Egypt. Only the pharaoh was above Joseph. Joseph had control of everything, even though his brothers sold him as a slave into Egypt. God was with them. Okay, right? So in verse 10, he's saying, so God was with him, and he delivered him out of all his affliction and gave him favor and wisdom. Right? Even though it wasn't looking too good when he got sold to the Egyptian in the first place. But that's how the tribes of Israel got to Egypt, because they were sold into by his own brothers. So it's amazing.